What's up and what's going on? Really don't have much to say. This is the week of what was this week? 6-2, right? 6-3. I'm an idiot. But the I guess Sunday was 6-2, but the market opened 6-3. Okay, so we actually had a couple of good plays this week. The GameStop, went crazy. Roaring Kitty talked and he destroyed GameStop. Shout outs to him for messing up the bag. But you can see here we had some very good plays. Um, I took GameStop on the second day. Like I said, I never want to take something on a short trending. So this is the momentum burst strategy that we talk about, the intraday momentum burst. This is not related to Pradeep. I kind of know what he does, but that's not what I'm trading. I'm trading intraday momentum as a day trade. I mainly use the 5 minute, but let's go back a day and you can see here. Don't we have a chart already marked up for GME? Anyways, you can see GME. This is like the morning here. We don't have break periods because TC 2000 wants to be a little jerk. But you can see we ran up early in the morning. We ran up 11%, right? And we're going sideways. And GME is always a stock that has once you see a trading volume, like it's in play. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at this top range. I always take the breakout of the top range when I see consolidation underneath it. So we have the high of day here, and now we have consolidation right here. You can see have consolidation here. It breaks consolidation here, and then we get some decent volume coming in. Okay, if it allows me to zoom in, let me. That's actually not what I want. All right, maybe. All right, so we have some. If we look here, we have some volume coming in, and this correlates to that bar. And yeah, so we get the volume, and then it goes absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh, it went crazier than I thought. Are you serious? Wow. So this was an absolute banger of a trade. And if you look at this on a 15 minute, this is what it looks like because I know I've been preaching to people like you should try to trade some of these on the 15 minute. So this is the 6 where yeah, it was running up. And you can see here, you would have risked 3.27. So you took the high and you got in at the bar that broke. So the lower candle, you actually would have risked less than that. You're just like 1% of your account. But I would have probably just used the one before because 1% is like it's too tight niched. But I don't know. Uh so it's too tight niched. And so this is 2.3%. And yeah, it ran up 30%. I don't even think that was okay. Yeah, it ran up 30% and then kind of broke down and then ran up again. So you can see it ran up 30% here. I don't know where you'd got stopped out at, but you'd had a huge chance to make money. People got to figure out their own exits. I know mine. I'm not sharing it, but whatever. But I think the simplest exit you can do is just literally get out when it breaks the 9 EMA. So you'd have got out here. So you got out at 40.20, and you would have got in at 33.97. So pretty much $6 a share for however many shares you brought. Right. So that's a huge move. This point, like I said, you'd have risked like you'd have risked like 2% and 17. So this is like a almost a 9R trade, right? That's 9% of your account in the trade. And it wasn't even done there. So yeah, it was kind of done there. It broke out here again, and then it went in the aftermarket, as you can see. Um, but you really can't see that because they don't show the full aftermarket. But it went in the aftermarket too. But then by the time you'd have woke up, you'd have been in pain. So this is why you don't hold these overnight. I did hold overnight. I held like 5%. So it wasn't that painful. But I got out like at 40. I got in at like 42. And I got out like 47. somewhere around there. Yeah, 47, somewhere around there. And then it started halting. I got out because it was just halting. Like it halted here, halted here, it halted. Yeah, it was just halting too much. And I don't mess with that. And it was dangerous. And then yeah. So Rory Kitty came and talked, and he destroyed the stock. Everyone, listen, the reaction to what he was saying, like people didn't like it. And the other good setup for this week was MLGO. You could have took MLG. Well, the only day you could have took MLGO is the day it gapped up, and that was, let's see here, the 5th, the 4th. All right, so you'll see this was a very good setup, and this had a very strong flag. Right, so this is the gap up. It halts, runs up 78%, holds the flag super well. And I actually took the intraday break here. I took the intraday break here. I was in at 782, and you can see the stock ran up 71%. Like I said, this happens all the time. All you gotta do is find a stock that has momentum. You need to figure out how to find that universe. I already figured it out. I talked about it on stream before, but figure out the universe, how to manipulate that universe, like how to find the stocks that have momentum in that universe. So I can tell you a small cap. I can tell you they usually have low float and all this stuff, but really the main criteria is going to be the volume, is going to be the gap percent, is going to be how much it ran the previous day, the ADR, things like that. How volatile it is, does it have news, etc., etc. There's a list of things, but someone has to figure that one out. And once you figure that out, you can trade the strategy relatively easy. So this ran up 84% and it gapped up what I think it was like 200%, 184%. So we already know it's trading tons of volume. All the criteria is there for me. And the best part about this one, it only pulls back 17%. It's literally up 419%. The flag range, the top of the flag range is only 17%. Only 17%. And that probably sounds like a lot, but you have to understand it just ran 400% and it's holding the flag. The flag is, all these are inside bars of this one bar, right? It starts surfing the 9 EMA, and you get huge volume coming in. Like these bars, well, it was already huge volume, but these bars are a low volume. So if we look down here, lower volume, lower volume, lower volume, lower volume, and then the volume kind of like stabilizes, and then we get a breakout bar here. Okay. So then, that was my cue to get in. So I got in here on this pocket pivot range. I didn't even wait for it to break the high because I really believed in the way it was acting. But then I almost got stopped out actually because I use lower candle, right? So I almost got stopped out here. It keeps going, and you can see the range, and then it just burst for 80%. And once it burst, I know like a stock running 80% in 15 minutes, bro, you need to get out of there. That's not gonna hold. That's not gonna hold. But even if you didn't get out of there, you got out when it broke the 9 EMA. That's still a huge move. Like I'm saying, like this is a good move. If you got in here, this is your risk. 12% risk. Stock goes up. You sell out when it breaks the 9 EMA here. 28%. That's a 2.5 hour trade. It's a good trade, but like I said, if you know your exits and you understand how to use the Bollinger Bands or manipulate some of the actual, I want to say mathematical, what do they call these indicators? Because the Bollinger Bands just pretty much tell you like the stock shouldn't be up this high. Like this is an anomaly event that's going on. Like it has to pull back. It can't just stay outside this range. So when this happens, I usually chip here. So that's exactly what I did. I actually took some off the top. I think I took some off the top here and around here. So I got a pretty good trade on this week, but you can see it had another breakout, and just to show what it looks like on the 15 minute, it looks like this. You can see you have some consolidation here, and then it breaks out. And from here, if you'd have kept it, it's a 75% move. I mean, pretty good stuff all around, man. I don't know. So even here, like end of the day breakout, you can see it's kind of consolidating. A little bit noisy, but yeah, the 5 minute can be noisy sometimes. So that's why you have to You don't have to because it works on a 5 minute. I just think I'm starting to think it works decent on the 15 minute as well. But these, well, we had another play. We had this play right here, and this play was this this is something people is gonna have to learn on their own. Um, the first day it gapped up, it was illiquid. There's just not enough volume here. This is what it looks like, right? It only has volume when it's breaking out, not periods before. Now you can see in the morning here has volume, but everything pretty much has volume in the morning, and it starts doing this barcode. And at some point, like especially if you're an intraday trader, like you understand what this means. This means it's illiquid. This means that there's a bunch of slippage. It's a risk. You can't trade stocks like that. The second day, we got a good move here. In the morning, consolidation breaks out, goes straight up. You could have got in here, and yeah, I don't know, like it came straight back down into range. But regardless, if once again, if you use low candle, look at this. This is 4.5% risk. It goes up 17%. This is almost a 4-hour trade. So from Wednesday to Friday, we had multiple R trades that would have worked. Multiple R. Like this is why the strategy could be extremely strong and extremely profitable. But like I said, everyone, like I'm not giving out all my secret sauce, but yeah, this I didn't really trade it. I traded it in this morning, and once again, it went outside the Bollinger Bands. And when I see that, like I said before, I start taking partials because that means it's an anomaly event and it's probably going to pull back. It doesn't just run outside of here and just says, I'm going to keep going forever. That's not how stocks work. Stocks have ADRs and volatilities for a reason. You're not just going to see a 1% stock just run up in 5 minute on a 5 minute bar 100%. That's just not how trading works, right? So you got to keep all that stuff in mind when you're trading. Something goes 100% in 5 minutes, and you think it's just gonna sit there forever, it just keep going up, it's not gonna drop down, you're wrong. Like I can tell you that's 99% of the time is going to crash hard. Anyways, the next day is where we get a really good move here. All right, so this is technically day 3, but you can see the volume like in the first. So here's the volume. The volume for this day is 2.4 million. Did I switch my thing? Okay, no, I didn't. The volume for this day is 2.4 million. All right, so if we come on, do your stuff. So you can see that right here, it's 2.4 million. Okay, understand. Right now, if we look at the first hour of 6/7, the day it really got going, look, coming into the market is trading 1.1 million. All right. So by the first this is 5.2 million. All right. Come on, Zoom. Don't do me like that. 5.2 million. So it already eclipsed this day. It already eclipsed the day that originally broke out for whatever reason, whatever news. I don't know what the news was. Don't care. It's not necessary. All I need to know is it has momentum. So this is 400K. This is 250K. This is 61. This is 142. This is 114. So at this point, we already passed the other day volume. So we're trading tons of volume because this thing was illiquid like a couple of days ago. Only traded 5.2 million, or it was like 2.5 million. I think I got it wrong. Yeah. Only traded 2.4 million. And this day, in the opening minutes, it's trading that much volume. So we know it's going to be liquid. We know it's going to be trading hard RVAL, and it runs up 25%, holds the flag. You couldn't hold the flag better. You literally couldn't. So I actually entered here when it broke because once again, this is a strong flag. Very tight consolidation, breaks out on higher volume. This is everything we want to see. Can we zoom out? Okay, we can zoom out. Boom, higher volume. You get a good breakout bar, breaks the high. Right? So we get a high break. Dude, you're annoying. So we get a high break, and then after all that happens, we get a huge breakout bar. We get another breakout bar here. So you would have entered here, at the top of this, and then you get this huge bar here. And like I said before, when things go parabolic, you just have to know. Once again, straight outside the Bollinger Bands. What do you think's gonna happen? I've seen this 100 times. I have a whole notebook. I have a whole playbook full of these plays. When this runs outside the Bollinger Bands, it's going to pull back. Now, I'm not saying it's going to crash every single time, but majority of times it is going to crash. And majority of times also it's definitely going to, I mean, you're not going to do this. You're not just going to keep going straight up. Actually, it doesn't matter. I don't need to show. Well, I can show it. You're not going to keep just going straight up. Like that's not going to happen. So what happens is it's either going to consolidate, give it some time, it's going to pull back a little bit, but it's just not going to run outside these Bollinger Bands. So what I usually do is I chip. So this ran up so much. I actually sold early because I had a meeting. I had a meeting at 10 o'clock. So I actually sold somewhere during this bar here. Uh no, I was I in a meeting? I think I was in a meeting. No, my meeting started at 10:30. Right. Okay. So I was like yeah, I couldn't have executed on this because I was in a meeting. But yeah, once again, these are all the plays that we had for this 1 week. And then not to mention that, like, EPs is still kind of working. I wish I could just introduce some grab criteria, but EPs I can just run the ones off the top of my head. AI looks decent. Nvidia's doing its thing, I guess. Like, I mean, I thought it was falling apart. I talked about how I should have entered here or whatever. Is ASPN still doing good? No. HIMS is running up again. ANF is now consolidating. Like, we have like a bunch of good plays for EPs as well. The market is not doing the greatest for swing trading. If you're doing like momentum based trading for a couple of days, I do think EPs is the one thing that you can swing trade right now. That's about it. Everything else, no, not at all. But crypto this week was also super strong. There was cores gapped up. This could have been an EP. This is not an EP in my opinion, but I know some people are gonna call it EP. But this is a gapper play. I mean, it gapped. It's in theme. It has a lot of momentum. Huge move. Could have made a huge move on this, and I'm sure some people did. Uh, and then this stock right here, like Iron or Iris Energy, beautiful setup. You can see it gapped up here, and it actually ran up a lot and pulled back. You'd have got stopped out this day, but I just got in the next day because I actually did get stopped out this day. I just refilled my size and I got in again, and I sold most of it somewhere around like 11. Actually, I sold somewhere near the top of this day because I just thought it was too far extended. But I sold a partial. I sold like maybe 40%, somewhere around the top of this day, because we're going into Friday, and yeah, and then Bitcoin started breaking down, so it pulled back, and I just kept my position. But between all the plays we had this week, we had a really good week. So we had GME, could have made huge money. We had MLGO. We had this one. We had a couple of other momentum breakout plays this week. I don't know which all ones that were I guess noteworthy, but I think these were the best ones. CE, yeah. I don't think ASTS went this week. No, ASTS did not go this week. That was last week. The week before that we had BNAI. Yeah, you can see BNAI. BNAI was probably better than all the plays I just mentioned. So on this day right here, yeah, I mean you just make your money and just like, yeah, you just, so 3.4% and it went up 39%. So this is over a 10-hour trade. So I mean, yeah, like you don't like, no, this is the wrong day. Okay, but I guess you could have traded that day. This is the day right here. May 31st. This was a killer trade. Like you would have risked When it broke above the high, you'd have risked 7%. So 7% risk, 7.5, and the thing went up most 100%. And if you just followed the basic rules, this is not my exit strategy, but this is like the basics to get started. This is around a 10R trade still, slightly under. This is probably like a 9.25 R trade, but it's still, you make 9% of your account, and all you do is you just literally ride this out. You enter and you ride it out until it breaks the 9 EMA. If you, once again, I'm not changing the strategy for anything. Consolidation right underneath the highs. You take on high volume, a high volume breakout bar. You put your low at the low of candle. You put your stop at the low of the 5-minute candle, and you ride that bitch out, right? And then when it breaks the 9 EMA, you sell. Very simple rules. You just have to, like I said, you just have to. There ain't really much you got to do except figure out the universe that's going to, allow you to be in these plays, because these plays happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? They even happen in post-market and pre-market. I don't trade them in post-market or pre-market. I don't play with my stock account like that. I know some people do, but yeah, I mean, yeah, ASTS, you're going to see the same setup last week if I can go back far enough. What day? It was this day right here. So what is this? 29? So we go back 529. So this is ASTS right here on 529. You can see very similar thing, right? Except you would have got stopped out here, but that's still a good move. 3.4 got stopped out somewhere around here. It's 8%. This is like a 2.5R trade. Once again, not doing nothing crazy, just follow the basics. But if you really want to spice this one up, like I personally, like I said, I don't have the same exit rules as I'm preaching here. I know a little bit more about this strategy. I entered on the 5-minute, and then I rode the 15-minute out, and you get a bigger move. But anyway, that's gonna wrap up the stream. I really think there's a huge edge in momentum-based trading. Me personally, I think it's the biggest edge, and I think it's one of the simplest. Like, especially if you're a person of a personality who, I don't know, like, you're not exactly super patient. You love things to go right. You hate for them to go wrong. You can't really sit there, or you want to build your account and you don't want to really go through all the drawdowns, or you don't want to deal with that emotional roller coaster of trying to hold swings through drawback period. This is what you want to do. I trade EPs in a similar way. Like, I'm holding EPs 2-3 days. I'm letting them go. Now, once again, I said if I would have held them longer, I would have probably, the EP plays, I would have probably made a lot more money. But if you can separate or if you just have the duality and the perseverance to hold through some of these periods where it's choppy, you'd have been in a lot of these plays like Nvidia still. That's not me. I try. I'm not good at it. I sell a lot of stuff way too early. But that's why I switched to momentum-based trading. I don't have to deal with that. As long as the stock is hot and it's in play, I leave it. And when I see it going wrong, I let it go. And usually it goes wrong at some point during the day when it's going up 40, 50, 60%. Like, it just doesn't just go up forever. But and I don't hold a large position overnight. I don't do that. I would do that for an EP. I'm not doing it for like the momentum based small cap stuff like GME, etc. I don't hold large plays like that when I can see the stock can make a 30% move overnight, or whatever. But yeah, this is pretty much it, man. This is what I'm trading, and it's working. Like, it's working well. But that's gonna wrap up the stream. I'm out.